Hi there, welcome back to my channel again. My name is Sarah Buyukan, and in my channel I love to talk about life in Canada, how to be a permanent resident in Canada, and how to apply in Canada. And I can even help you if you're a student visa to apply in Canada. So today's topic, I'm going to talk to you about how to apply to come in Canada as a caregiver from Hong Kong. Okay, it's because I mentioned Hong Kong because I came from Hong Kong. I was being a caregiver in Hong Kong when I first moved to Canada and worked as a caregiver, and after 2 years I got my permanent resident until I got my citizenship. So if you are from outside in your country as an OFW and planning to move in Canada, it's either from Saudi Arabia or Singapore, Malaysia, Korea or Thailand or Cyprus or Israel, and you have the plan to move in Canada as a caregiver, then this topic is for you, my dear friend. Okay, so first of all, you have to assess yourself because the caregiver program requirements is the old caregiver program was being abolished. So I always mention, because I mentioned again for my previous topic about the caregiver program, the requirements. I have the link down below and I'm going to attach. So if you like my video and if you want more information, you just click that link. Okay. So anyway, the reason why I mentioned this because this is my own experience when I came from Hong Kong until I moved to Canada. So I want to share it to you. What are the requirements? Even though the old caregiver program was been abolished, but the new caregiver program, the 5-year program that was been introduced last year of June 18, 2019, there's also the similarities for the requirements. So I'm going to tell you what are the requirements and what I did when I was in Hong Kong when I moved in here. So anyway, what I did when I first go to Hong Kong is I have to make it sure that I have 72 units. So the requirements for you to be able to come in Canada as a caregiver is you have at least 72 units or third year in university or college and working as a nanny or caregiver. Okay, because when I was in Hong Kong, I was being a caregiver and I taking care of small children. So in order for you, you need to take care of small children or elderly in some other country or in Hong Kong. So if you are taking care of pets like dog or cats, and you're not being qualified, because when you submitted your application to the Canadian Embassy in Hong Kong, they will ask your picture. Sometime you have to prove, okay, and you have to prove the letter of a reference letter from your employer, and this reference letter, it has to be signed by your employer. Okay, that's one of the toughest requirements you have to prove and submit it to the consular office in Hong Kong, and that's the most toughest I provide submitted to my own application before, because my employer is a terminator and they have no idea about what I'm applying in Canada, because I have to keep it secret, because if I tell them the truth, they're going to terminate me anyway. So if you have a plan to come in Canada, don't mention it to your employer. You have to know your employer well before you have to tell them you have a plan to come in Canada, or otherwise, if you know you are not comfortable with your employer, just keep it to yourself. Don't tell them. If you have the chance and if you have the plan or dream to come in Canada, just move and do it. Okay, just work in Hong Kong for at least 1 year. 1 year experience, because that 1 year experience as a caregiver is equivalent of 6 months in Philippines for the caregiving course. So if you are taking care of small children or elderly, once you are in Hong Kong for at least 6 months or 7 months, try to go and look for agency who can help you to find employer to come in Canada. First thing, now because we have the new caregiver program for the caregiver, first thing you have to do is you need to have Ielts. You have to passing score is 5. The Ielts is the International English Language Test. So you have to pass that, and the passing score is 5. Okay, so if you are in Hong Kong or in different countries or in Singapore or Malaysia, what you do is go find an agency who can provide the test for the Ielts, or you can do online review. Then you try to do that exam, okay, because you have to need that for the requirements program here in Canada. Pass the Ielts, you have to at least 72 units in university or college or third year in university, and then your credentials you have to submit it here in Canada. Either you submit it by mail, okay, it has to be original. The credential or your transcript of record you submit it here in Canada, they call IQAS, the International English Language Testing System, or WES. This is International Qualification Assessment Services. So your credential is going to be assessed by Canada government. They will see the level of your education, and then they will give it back to you, the result. So it's because of this COVID-19, probably it takes for a little while to wait for between 4 or 5 months. We don't know, right? So anyway, that's what you're going to do. 72 units in university. Submit. You have to have your Ielts, the English exam test. Passing score is 5. Submitted your credentials here in Canada to be assessment for the level of your education. Okay, when you did all those stuff, you have to find an employer. So how do you find an employer if you are outside in your country? So you go every time in your days off, because what I did when I was in Hong Kong, every day off I go to agency, I go by myself and look around, I walk around and find an agency who can find employer for me in Canada. So I did that for like 2-3 months. You have to make it sure find an agency who is a legit one. They don't just get your money and you don't have any employer. You have to make it sure, you have to review and have to ask people, whoever experienced that agency, make it sure they can find you a good employer here in Canada, okay? So that's what you're going to do. Find an employer, go to agency, and you have to prepare your money, because what I spent when I was in Hong Kong, I paid the agency for 18,000 Hong Kong dollar. Beside for that, I have to pay for my police clearance in Hong Kong, my medical in Hong Kong, and then the airfare I came to Canada. So at least like I spent 30,000 Hong Kong dollar all in all. So for now, what I heard is you need to spend, you have to pay the agency in Hong Kong for at least 30,000 Hong Kong dollars. So I don't know if that's true. And so you need to prepare for at least that kind of amount. So that is too much money, right? So if you have any friend here in Canada, or you have a family who can sponsor you to hire you as a caregiver, then why not? You try to ask them. They might help you, right, my dear friends? So anyway, because of this pandemic, people in Canada is still hiring for nannies or caregiver here, especially if you can work as a caregiver in a nursing home or in a in the home for children with disabilities. They are hiring still. So try to go to an agency who can find you employer here in Hong Kong, in Canada, I mean. So anyway, so find an employer. You have your 72 units, you pass your Ielts, you have your assessment from Canada. So what's next? You have to provide the original documents, your transcript of record, your birth certificate, NBI from Philippines or police clearance from Philippines. Go and get your police clearance in Hong Kong and get a medical test. So those documents from Philippines, that's what I was talking, it has to be a red ribbon, right? Red ribbon is or been authenticated before you submitted in Canada for the assessment of level of your education. And even when you submitted to Hong Kong consulate, you have to be like originals, because in Hong Kong you have to contact the school where you come from. They will assess if everything is true to what you all submitted, okay? So if everything you completed, all the requirements, you have the employer, you have to provide your letter of the reference letter from your employer. This reference letter is make it prove that you are working with your employer and signed by employer. Sometimes I tell you, this is the most toughest to get this requirement from your employer, because once the employer know that you're applying to come in Canada, they will terminate you. And the possibility is yes, because in Hong Kong, not employer are the same. So I'm lucky enough, I have to make a trick. I have to tell, or I have to lie sometimes to my employer so they can provide my reference letter, because they keep my passport, they keep my ID Hong Kong. So I have no idea what to do for my application when I was in Hong Kong. So you have to be brave enough and do something, because they are smart people too. So you have to do something, right? So make some reason out. If you have a family in back home, you have children, you just tell them, I need this reference letter for my children in back home, okay? But anyway, if you have any questions, just ask me more. Just comment down below, and just don't forget to subscribe me, okay? Just if what I'm sharing it to you right now, and if not really clear, you ask me more, just comment down below in my channel, in my video right now, okay? So I'm willing to help you. Okay, so is everything okay? You have your employer, then you have to submit it to the embassy or to your agency. Is going to do all your paperwork anyway for you. So you have to wait for at least 2-3 months. It's easier for now because we don't, the caregiver program, they don't need the labor market opinion here in Canada. So it's look like direct hire from your employer. But because of this COVID, as I told you, it might be a little bit delayed, but at least if you find an employer here in Canada, and that's good because at least you have something to wait. Okay, so if everything is okay, you completed all the requirements, you've submitted all to the immigration, you did all your assessment here in Canada, you have your employer, and then your agency will process for your application. So you have to prepare for your, you have to make it sure you have to prepare your money, because in some agencies, once they started your application, they need your money right away. So it depends on them. They might ask you to pay them twice, or you can pay them 3 times. So it's up to you how to deal with your payment with your agency. So the most important thing and the most goal we have to do in your mind is to come in Canada as a caregiver, okay? Because for me, I always advise you, if you have the chance to come in Canada as a caregiver, why not? Just keep trying and go find an agency. Agency is good, they can find you an employer, and who cares if you spend all the money. When I came to Canada, I don't have money in Hong Kong, so what I did, I go and borrow money in the bank. I'm not shy to tell you the truth, because that's what I did. I don't have money because I'm very new to Hong Kong for not even 1 year, and I don't have that much money, so I went to borrow money in the bank, and that's what I deposited to my agents who helped me to come in Canada. So everything is borrowed when I came here. So when I arrived in Canada, then that's the time I started to pay those money I borrowed in the bank in Hong Kong, so I won't be in trouble, right? So yeah, if you have the chance, just do it. And if you have any questions, just ask me, because I'm willing to help you, because I love this country and I want you to be in this country, especially if you have children, small children. This Canada is the best place to raise a family. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, just comment down below, and just if you like my topic for today, just don't forget to give a thumbs up and just subscribe down below, as I'm going to upload more videos related to anything and everything here in Canada. So thank you so much for watching, and God bless you, and bye bye.